And polling stations in Chile are open for a referendum on whether to change the constitution. Mass protests that started last year led to the referendum. Demonstrators say the constitution promotes social inequalities. Well, let's speak about this now to Peter Siavelis, who's a professor of political science at Wake Forest University, specializing in Chile and Latin America. He joins us live from Winston-Salem in North Carolina in the U.S. Thank you so much for being with us. So it seems pretty much like a done deal that this new constitution in Chile will be approved. The big question now, though, is who will write it? Who do you think should be tasked with drafting this new constitution?
Well, this is the most significant political moment that Chile's facing since the end of the dictatorship and the plebiscite of 1988. And ultimately, Chile's been operating under a constitution written by a dictatorship. So it's essential that this new constitution be written by a majority, unlike the last one that was written by a minority. So in this sense, the key question that Chile's facing right now is whether there's two questions on the plebiscite. First, are you in favor of a new constitution? And second, if so, should a constituent assembly draft it that would be made up of all the population, or should a mixed commission made up of half citizens and half members of Congress be in charge of the drafting? At this point right now, it appears in the polls that the yes is going to win and that the constituent assembly made up of the entire population will be the likely outcome.
Right. Can a new constitution, though, change Chile's old problems? You know, what specific issues do you think need to be looked at that can bring about real change and put Chile on a more socially equal path?
Look, the protests in Chile that broke out last year, they're not about a transport increase in a transport fee or anything like that, like they were played in the press. They're really about 30 years of injustice that's been building and building and building. And finally exploded on last October. So in this sense, it's fundamental what the Constitution provide a framework to address the problems that are facing Chile. My fear is that policy is going to end up in the Constitution. That is to say, the most pressing issue facing Chile is inequality, inequality of income, inequality of opportunities, inequality in the pension system, inequality of the education system, and in the health system. My fear is that if the Constituent Assembly wins, that the Constitution writers will attempt to fold policy into the Constitution. And that's not the role of the Constitution. The role of the Constitution is to provide a framework under which those reforms can be undertaken. And that's the really most pressing challenge facing Chile right now.
Yeah, Colombia has tried this experiment in the 1990s with mixed results. How can Chile do it differently, you think?
Well, it's going to be a challenge. It's going to be a real challenge to do this differently. And that's why, in my view, I think the mixed assembly is best, because then you'll have members of Congress who have some experience with legislating and with the political system, but also the representation of the people. So in this sense, it's essential that what the Constitution focuses on is a minimalist approach. That is to say, what constitutions are designed and what they're supposed to do. Constitutions are supposed to protect minorities, and they're also going to protect against the capriciousness of a majority. So in this sense, what the Constitution needs to do is minimally guarantee those rights and provide a framework under which these reforms can be undertaken.
Thank you so much for talking to us, Peter Siavelis from Wake Forest University. Thank you for your insight on this.